The stream is live, and here we are in. I can't even say Glastonbury because it's not.
All the time you get someone interrupting, that's how it goes without script. That's what happens in the Southern Hemisphere. There's a delay to the Northern Hemisphere. Boom, boom. There you go. Hey, welcome to Koala Town today, and it's the studios of Radio FM 88 Australia in Brisbane, Queensland. It's nice in winter. It's currently 28 degrees. Anyway, our coach is from the UK and our guests are from the UK, and they all come from the West Country. And so if you've never heard the West Country accent, you're going to hear it today.
Listen to David.
All right, without further ado, over to you, Pretty Pauline.
Hello, and good morning from, I'm in Glastonbury today. And I would say that the temperature here is half that of Australia. My best guess, it may have just about reached 14, but probably not. So it's a very crisp day today, and I'm here delighted to welcome Bea and David, the Bards of Avalon. So good morning.
Good morning.
And David has slipped to one side. He's back again now. So,
I thought, as you said, it was 14 degrees. I thought I'd put the heater on. It's not 28.
It is actually 14 degrees. There you go.
Yeah, it's 14 degrees.
Yeah.
Best guesses. So, good morning, Bea. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Pretty Pauline. And good morning, Jeff. Good evening, Jeff.
Good evening.
Yes. Here we are simulcasting. It's incredible that the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere, same time, here we are. So tell us a little bit about how the both of you met.
Do you want to kick off?
Well, there's about 3 versions of this. So there's the very short version, and there's the longer version, and there's the very long version.
Just go for it.
In the long version, we both knew we were going to meet each other a long time before, and I had to do lots of renovation around at the house that I was in, so that everything was ready for Bea, including to buy a bed that half of it was firm and half of it was regular, and I had no idea what I was doing or anything. And we also had 3 months before we met, I was going to a group. It was a development group, psychic thing, and we used to take cards. And you take a card for what's happening in 3 months, what's happening in 2 weeks, and what's happening now. And in 3 months, I was going to meet somebody special, and then 2 weeks before, I was going to meet somebody special. All different packs of cards and everything, and it would just like happen. And then the day before I met her, I got It's Now. And so I was going to have a psychic reading with somebody to give me some idea what I was going to do with my life, because my life had completely changed. And so that day I had to, we were going to Stonehenge, and we were going to do a weekend working with sound. So I offered to take anybody to Stonehenge because it was close to the public at that point. And if you didn't have a car, you wouldn't be able to get there. And so I offered that if anybody needed a lift, then I was available. So do you want to say something?
Yeah, so I was approached by the organizer because at that time I didn't have a car. And Claire said, well, you can either go with Sigrid, who's from Switzerland, who you know, or you can go from David from Bristol. And I was sort of thinking to myself, well, this is a bit crazy. I actually know the Sigrid, but I don't know David. I mean, he might be a crazy person. And but everything within me said, no, you have to go with David. So I rang him up, and he picked me up in the hub of the universe that is Basingstoke. So,
okay.
Yeah, so perfect synchronicity. I arrived a half hour early and drove into the car park. I'd never been there before. I somehow drove straight there, all the way through Basingstoke, which is quite an interesting way to go.
Yeah.
And I turned the engine off. Then 30 seconds later, the phone rang, and she said, "Oh, the train's early. I'm just pulling in. Where are you?" And I said, "Well, I've just switched the engine off, so I'll come around and pick you up." So we drove to Stonehenge. We were actually doing sound in the middle with the stones and stuff, because that was part of the event that we were at. And then we spent the whole weekend, like more or less together the whole time. So B knew everybody, and I pretty well knew nobody. And there's Stonehenge from above.
Yeah.
So we were going around in the middle with the stones. And, it was all about connecting to the stones through sound.
Yes, sadly, you used to be able to get full access to.
I was going to say, how long ago was that?
Well, this one was a private access, so this was specifically for our group. But I mean, I remember going in the 70s when it was actually a long time ago, when we could actually freely access the stones. Yeah.
And so we've been there many times since with private access with various groups. We've taken gongs in and all sorts of instruments and things. With the other people brought lots of that sort of thing. So we then went to Winchester for the weekend, and strangely enough, I took a long time to find any accommodation. I finally found this place. When I arrived, they said, "Everybody else has cancelled. You're the only person here, so we'll give you the biggest room." And it was the next morning I went to breakfast, and I said, "This place is really strange. There's all these like things on the wall and all sorts of stuff." And they said, "Yeah, it was a nunnery." So I meet my wife while I'm staying in a nunnery, so we spent
things up,
and we went on from there, really. So but it was an amazing weekend, and we had a great time. So I think that's
fabulous. And so tell me, both of you were independently interested in sound and gongs, and so in a way it was a mutual interest that brought you together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
I mean, I've been interested in sound since 1990. I had a big awakening to the use of sound, and I was doing a course in humanistic psychology, and one of the things that we had was special intensive weekends on specialized subjects, and one of which was shamanism, and it was the psychology of shamanism. And facilitator introduced us to toning, and I'd never experienced toning, and it was just simply singing Om. Just doing that for a few seconds, suddenly I felt like this huge cannonball had blasted through my heart, and I could literally feel a breeze coming through the whole of me, and I just started crying my eyes out. And it was only a few months later, having seen some other therapists, that I realized what a profound heart opening I'd had, and that the tone, I'd literally hit the resonant note of the walls that I'd built around my heart, basically. So I thought, crikey, if that's happened in just, less than a couple of minutes, this is something I need to explore in more depth. And at the time I was in a corporate job, but I always was interested in mind, body, spirit topics. And eventually I knew I had to give it all up. I had a senior job doing management training and consulting in financial services. And I knew I had to give it all up, gave my place up, partner up, everything. And I just got a ticket to America, where I studied sound healing did the course with Jonathan Goldman. And that's how I started my sound healing journey.
Yeah. And David, what does yours look like?
Yeah, I was quite a bit behind B because she started first. So I had to back up. So I had the short route. So I went to a fundraiser and I was at this fundraiser. This lady was raising money to set up a women's shelter in Bosnia. So that was like 2002, and they had various prize things for like with a raffle and stuff, and I ended up winning a gong bath, and I didn't know what a gong bath was, and I had to go to this lady, and she had these massive gongs and stuff in a very small room right next to a bed. And you lie on the bed, and then she plays the gongs and bowls and all sorts of things. And I really felt something like shift and stuff. So I thought, well, there must be something in this. I'll ask her what else is she doing and stuff. And so she had a list of events that she was doing. And she was doing every event but one. And the one event that she wasn't doing was by this guy from Canada called Jaden Jewell. And I just ran my finger down and I said, that one. And because I had no clue what they all were anyway. And so I went to this event, which was the event that was run by the same man before the one before I met B. So I met a few people, and then that's when I decided to go and have a reading with him and find out what I was supposed to do with my life. Which didn't really give me a lot of clues, but he did give me some very interesting stories that I could tell that go on for hours, but I won't do any of that. So from that, literally, I was straight into working with sound in the way that they did, and most of it was working with your own voice. So you didn't use any instrument. It was all about your voice, and it wasn't a singing class or anything. It was about trying to get to your energy and working with other people's energy and stuff. It was a really interesting event, and we went on lots after that. And we've been all around the world with this guy. So we've been to Peru with him. We've been to India. We went to Dubai for a weekend workshop, which was absolutely bonkers, but it was really interesting. And we swam with the humpback whales with him for a week in the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah. So
they make some interesting sounds.
Oh, they certainly did. We had the most incredible experience there. And it's very weird because when you when you go out to sea there's no reference point. It's just sea, and you're just on these sandbanks, literally in the middle of nowhere. The only thing you have as a reference is an old rusting wreck of a ship that went down, and that's it. You have no other reference. And we had the most beautiful captain, Captain Jean, and he would go out each day with another captain, Stuart, split the boat up into twos. We had two Zodiacs rubber dinghies, because to actually get up close to the whales, you want to make minimum noise as possible. I know it sounds contradictory given the noise they make, but you don't want to alarm them. And this is a sanctuary and a site of obviously special interest. And they observe the behaviours of the whales. This is where the mums come and have their calves in the spring. It's very, very special. And as you can imagine, a mum with a newborn, she'll either say, hey, come on in, see my newborn, or back off. And they really were, and we learned a lot about sound just from them, because they're incredible masters of energy. And we had so many profound experiences with them. And it was amazing because Jaden would tune in the night before, do a meditation to harmonize the group. And then we would go each day. We see dolphins as well, but not on this trip. But it really is a remarkable, remarkable experience. In fact, we had one, do you remember when we were supposed to join hands together so that you're not so threatening to people and to the whales, really, And so I don't know, to this day, I don't know how I became separated from my buddies, but I did. And suddenly I became aware that there was a little baby whale coming up alongside me. And I was pointing to the others saying, look, it's a little baby whale. And they were sort of looking sort of shocked at me. And I was thinking, why are you looking shocked? There was this huge mother whale coming up alongside the other side. And then, and if that wasn't enough, then the male escort was coming up beneath me. And I was sort of thinking, okay, I feel a bit sandwiched here in this whale pod. And it was really an extraordinary experience where I felt as though I was being completely scanned from head to toe. I could feel the sonar. And it was like, wow, this is just one of the most incredible experiences. And we came back from that the whole week. We couldn't really speak about it, could we? It was just
it was
so
a different
moving.
reality.
Yeah,
it was amazing to be there.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Wow.
But when we toned to the whales, do you want to say about when we toned to the whales and their response?
Well, we were going. So there's 13 of us in this zodiac going along quite fast and everything. And there's about 10 whales around us. So they were all like the youngsters, and they were all trying to impress the female, and so they were all doing all stuff.
Even whales do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But what it was that the female wanted to hang around us. So because the captain we would go as fast as we could and keep up with the pod and everything, and then he would say, well, we'll have to stop for a minute just to sort of, let the motor have a rest for a bit. And so he stopped and she stopped. So they all stopped. So they're all around the boat. And so after a while, we've been doing this for like 2 hours. And then we thought, well, it'd be interesting for us to, because we were in such joy with the way that we're having this interaction with them, that we'd said, well, let's sing to them. So we were singing like various tones and stuff, but you couldn't really hear it because the engine was going like mad behind us, and obviously they would, the other people could hardly hear what we were doing on the boat. But one of the whales came up and sang back, and the captain was in shock because they don't sing when they're out of the water.
No,
they only make a sound when they're in the water. And he said he'd never heard that before, and it was straight after we'd done it that it replied. So that was quite interesting to have that.
So what were you singing to the whales at that point? Do you remember?
We were toning.
We were toning,
like
but it was the joy that we were experiencing of having that 2 hours with the whales continuously. It was like party time. We were literally arms in the air, and they because they understand our energy and stuff, and so they knew that we were having a party and they were having a party as well. So very interesting. But a lot of it's not specifically the sound; it's the intention that's behind it. It's just the way.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Listening to your story, it's triggered a memory of me. I don't know. It's probably before 2000 when I went to a place called West Malling, and there was an evening there again about sounds. And the guy who was conducting the evening was a man called Christian Kiriakou, who's known as the House Whisperer. Yeah. And he got his rods out and he said, oh, we've got negative energy here and negative energy there. And he split the group that was there to just sing, I think it was a C, but 3 different types of Cs. So whatever the sounds were. And when I was party to that, I could hear the harmonic of the 3, and you heard a 4th sound just come into existence. And lo, after he got his sticks out again, the energy had moved, and whatever
Yes.
he was experiencing as negative energy had dissipated.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we're in this state of, oh, wow, how wonderful, how lovely, and just complete, just the whole group in this room were just filled with this delight. And along comes a man, opens up the door and says, "You've got to leave here now. The parking place closes at 9:30. You've got to go."
Reality check.
And with that, Christian said, it happens every single time. When you move the negative energy, there's like the affirmation or the confirmation from the world, from life, to let you know you've done a good job.
Yeah.
And it was just so angry, this chap. So perhaps that's what was left, that we had to obey the rules and be sure that we left the parking by 9:30. So I'm wondering, do you get any similar kind of experiences when you're in this state of absolute ecstasy, and then there's an interruption from outside that just sort of brings you back to reality, or so-called reality?
It tends to happen the other way for us. So, yeah, if we have any interference of any sort, it's right at the beginning. And then what we find, and it can be all sorts of things. We've asked people to switch their mobiles off and they suddenly go off. There's some sort of interruption, but then it's really weird because it's kind of like you just kind of stick with it and stick with the sound. And basically, oh, look, he's got the whales up here now. Oh, wow, you've done this, Jeff. Oh, how amazing is that? Oh, the southern humpbacks.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wonderful. Because we did oh, wow.
Mm.
Oh, this brings back some happy memories. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's swimming with them, mate.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we
go every year. I haven't gone for the last 2 years, but we used to go every year for a number of years. Yeah. I got a hydrophone, so listen to them,
Oh yeah, if you've got a hydrophone, they're quite extraordinary.
Mm.
Yeah, the sounds. Look at that. Yeah, just amazing. Actually the whales, the whales and the dolphins are master. You're talking about this sort of any negative energy. They're absolute masters in shrugging it off. In terms of their boundaries and being super clear. They're just amazing. It's like dolphins just sort of shake any negativity off. So yeah, so in terms of your question, Pauline, we tend to experience it right at the beginning.
And I suppose that could be seen as a bit of a tuning in.
Yeah,
just to get rid of that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah. I think so.
We usually set the space as well.
Yeah.
So we'll set the space. The easiest one for us to do it, because obviously we work with sound, is I usually walk around with a gong.
Yeah.
Small.
You can show the gong. So here we have the exhibito.
So this is I can't see you on the camera. Yeah, right. This is the gong.
Here we are. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how the sound is coming across, because normally we do things on Zoom and I can adjust the sound settings on that. But
so normally we'd use this microphone and so that's later on in the story. But so we'd use this microphone. We'd put it on the setting on the Zoom, and you don't. It doesn't break up because a lot of the systems want to cut out any extraneous sounds. So literally a lot of the instruments just disappear unless you put the thing on the right setting. Yeah, but
yes, I didn't hear anything, I'm afraid.
This is quite loud at this end. Yeah, so
I could see by B's reaction.
Yeah, I know. It's a beautiful sound. It's really lovely sound. And
you'd agree with that, B, would you?
Absolutely. No, it's gorgeous.
It's a bit loud when you're that close.
No, the sound, everybody loves it. So when we're doing a sound bath, David tends to play the big gongs, and then I will go around each participant with that little gong.
Yeah.
And basically, we're talking about transmuting any density. That is, the gongs are brilliant for actually clearing out things like that, breaking up things that really don't serve. So we do that at the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, I must say, I absolutely love the language that you use there. Transmuting any density. That's just an exquisite way of saying what you do. There's no judgment in that. It's negative. And I was thinking back to the time when we talked about intention. Well, clearly, when we went in West Malling, the intention was to clear negativity, and we got that back. But to transmute density is a very beautiful description.
It isn't. It is very conscious use of that, because the thing is, what we found that if you just sort of say density bad, all you're doing is you're amplifying that negativity. But so what we're doing is we're recognizing it, but what we're doing is we're bringing it into harmony, because basically, and that's basically what we do. Is you can take any tone. We discovered this when we were doing. We don't tend to do one-to-ones so much these days, because there's just so many other things to do. But when we have, what we found with people with really chronic conditions, they would have areas of density in their bodies. And what we found was, rather than actually saying, oh, la, 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 here's all the angelic sounds, what we realized was that density needed to be heard, and it needed to be witnessed. And so we would tune into that. And at times it would be difficult to even make a tone. But we would actually keep sort of expressing it, because we're saying, okay, we see you. We're allowing you to express yourself through our voices. Here's your chance to say what's going on for you. And sometimes it would be like a lot of fear or a lot of anger or whatever it is. It sounds really growly. But then you hit a place where once you've toned for a bit doing that, then the softer, sweeter tones come in, and the tones that actually harmonize with the growly sounds. And then it actually then becomes really nice and smooth. And it's amazing how many things we've actually witnessed, assisting people with health conditions, quite chronic, to actually, completely turn around just by doing that toning. So
sometimes people have been so amazed as what happened that they end up starting to work with sound therapy themselves.
Right.
So they change career and stuff and go, I'm going to do that, because they realized that it was so powerful. And the other thing with working with sound is you can work with more than one person at a time. Because I was quite interested in working with other things like Reiki and hands-on healing and vortex healing and all sorts of things. But I realized that you can only work with one person. And I thought that's not what I want to do. I want to work with groups of people, and both of us felt the same. And so we thought, right, let's do that. Although we didn't plan any of it.
No, that's the thing.
The universe plans it for you. I think you sort of go, well, that's what I would like, and then the universe makes it happen. Because literally we never ran anything without being asked to do it. And so we literally started from, we'd gone on, I already said that we'd been to Peru and we'd been to India and stuff, and we'd done some singing there, but we were with a group that did that anyway. But we went to Israel, Egypt, and Jordan, and we were doing the tour of sacred sites and things. And as we were doing this tour, the leader would do like messages and stuff, or guidance and things from like what you describe, channeled messages really. And she would go into a temple space and just do this message. And we said to her, this is no good. You can't do it like that. You need to set the space. And, so that it's a bit like what you said, you walk in and there's this negativity in the space and stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
So we didn't have any instruments, although somebody else had a couple of, but we, I'm get put off with the screen. The screen keeps... Anyway, so
we're back.
So we said, well, you need to set the space, and she said, well, if you really think it needs doing, she said, you do it.
All right.
So she said, well, when we go to the next place, before I do anything, you set the space. So that's what we did. So we set the space with sound. So we would say some intentions or something to clear it, and then we would tone. And it turned out that obviously the universe had more things to play. So they got two people playing little singing bowls, and they went first. So they literally, because they're very high pitch, and they like cut through the energy of a space. And then this other guy was there, and he was from Ireland. His name was Tony, and he was about 6'5", and he was really big, and his voice was so deep that you literally couldn't believe it. And he would just tone this really deep tone, and you'd be sort of there going, oh, and it was really loud as well. And it would like go through the whatever room you're in or whatever. And then we
it almost like shook the walls.
It did. Yeah.
And
I get the picture.
We would do the sound over the top, and everybody realized straight away that the whole space was completely different. It just felt your whole body was tingling. They were all like going, this is amazing. And so we would do it in different places, and because it was a long journey, and we did Egypt first, and we did it in the Great Pyramid, which they tried to throw us out for making sound, but that didn't happen. So then, but we went to the Shepherd's Fields where the shepherds saw the angel, and
okay.
And so we all stood in a circle, and they did the thing, and then Tony started toning, and then we did our bit, and people were filming it and stuff, and they were saying that they'd never experienced anything like it. And so we said, well, we're just doing what we've been, because it was all part of the way we did stuff with Jade and Jewel, and so it was just for us, it was just straightforward and easy and things, and our voices are very compatible, and the thing is, because it's toning, there's no script, there's no there's no song or anything, and every time it's different, and so unless it's an actual song, I mean, that's different, but what we're doing is connecting, we're feeling the energy, and then we're toning it, but we sing exactly the same thing at the same time, but there's no plan. We didn't do it. We didn't sort of go, well, let's do this and stuff. And people would come up to us and say, how long did you practice that? And we say, we've never done it before. And they'd say, no, you must have practiced. We say no. And so when we got back after that journey, we went to this friend's house who was running a Reiki group.
Yeah.
She said, so did you have a nice holiday and stuff? And she was listening to Tom Kenyon, who's very well known in the circles of working with the vocal sound, and he would connect to beings off planet and things and stuff, and she listened to him, and we said, well, we've been doing something like that, and I had a recording on a little MP3 player thing or something, and I said, listen to this. So she put it, I think it was on headphones or something. She listened to it and she said, well, that sounds like more energetic to me than what Tom Kenyon does, but Tom Kenyon's like world famous, like, and she said, right, you're running a workshop. And we went, what? And I never, I don't, at that time, I would not speak in public at all. I was so shy. I never said a word. And I you've got to be joking. We're not, because she had, like, she said, well, I'll get about 15 people to come or something like that. In fact, we asked you to watch our 10 years of adventures little video.
Watch it, yeah.
And there's a picture of the group.
Beautiful pictorial video, I suppose, wasn't it? It's great.
Yeah. So I made that. Yeah. And so that was the first group that we ever worked with, but I pretty well never spoke the whole time to the group.
So you have been transformed.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and that was the first one. And then she said, right, I want to do another one. I'll do another one. And all we were doing was using our voices. We had no instruments at all. And then gradually it was quite funny, because we went to Avebury at one point, and the person who was running this group said, right, I know that you want to do something with sound for a few minutes, and I'll bring you in like halfway through. So they had like about 12 gongs there, planetary gongs and stuff, which were all linked. They carried the vibration of the planet. So what they were going to do was like do virtually an astrology reading for that day, because it was a special day anyway, and we were at Avebury. And so there's about 60, 70 people there, and they're all feeding all the energies of the planets through these gongs and stuff, and they had a crystal bowl and all sorts of things like that. And I was going, thank God we don't have to do any of that. And so then they said, right, you're up next. And we'd already spoken to this guy who was in the front row, who had brought a load of gongs with him. And we'd asked him if he wanted to sell a CD that we'd produced. And he said, oh, no, it's a waste of time. I'm not interested in selling CDs. Just leave it. And he had a big shop, that sold loads of instruments and stuff. Anyway, we tried to give him a copy, and he said, I don't want one. And so anyway, we stand right in the front row watching us, and we started to sing the energies of the day, and his face was like in shock, and as soon as we finished, he got up and he walked straight to the back, and I thought, God, I wonder what's up with him, and he bought our CD. he wouldn't take it off us. He refused to touch it. And I said, oh, it was all right then. He said, that was extraordinary. Yeah. So all these things just link together in various ways.
Hey,
it's very funny, isn't it?
You know Tim Wheater by any chance?
Sorry, Jeff, could you repeat that?
Tim Wheater?
Yes, we know Tim.
Yeah, Tim.
Yeah, we've been on the same. We were at the Paradigm Shift Roadshow together.
Yeah, we did a 2-day event.
Sure.
And he did the music. We were speakers there. At the conference.
He did a music.
Yeah, Tim's amazing. He's been doing this for years. Yeah.
He used to do the gong baths down at
extraordinary. Yeah.
We had a story with him as well. So he we were booked to do this thing in this hotel just on the outskirts of Bristol, and so we contacted Claire, who was the lady who brought us together, who ran Paradigm Shift.
yes.
And she was doing this event. And so it was Friday night, and he was going to do a concert. And then Saturday and Sunday was the 2-day event. And it turned out that the room that he was going to use to do his singing, or he was playing all the instruments into a concert, it wasn't available because the bride and the groom hadn't got out of that room. So they said, we're really sorry, but we can't give you the room. We'll have to give you another room. So they gave us this other room, and we were all in the other room, and he did all the music and stuff, and it was fine. We ended up going up and playing some of the instruments a bit as well. And then the next day, the organizer said, well, I've given you one of the big rooms because a lot of people know you, and they'll all want to come and see you. And it was that room. And we thought, well, that's really interesting, because that's the room that the night before we knew that working with sound was really powerful and everything. But it turns out that this building is on a song line, and song line were like, well, the song lines were tracked by this guy called
John Gibson
40. And we'd gone to a talk a long time before by him about the song lines, and basically it's from the triads, isn't it?
It's the Welsh. It's our indigenous. So I mean, we have Jeff here, who in Australia is very well known for its own songline tradition through the First Nations Aborigines there. But we have our own songline tradition through the Celtic tradition, and this has come through what's called the Welsh triads, basically. It's this extraordinary, if you can imagine, this is a few thousand years ago, where you would get choirs of, we're not quite sure, there were just people who had focused intent on giving thanks to the land. And it was this kind of reciprocal arrangement. If we give thanks for the land will look after us. But basically they had teams, they had choirs of at least 100 people every hour, 24 hours a day. And so they would feed these lines. And there were 3 key points. One was Amesbury, which was just south of Stonehenge. Another one, Llantwit Major, which is in Wales. And the other one is Glastonbury Abbey. And so they had triangulation going on, these 3 main sites. And John Gibson 40, an astonishing dowser. We can maybe talk a little bit about some of the things we did with them, because you're talking about how Christian Kyriakou
Right.
Okay, what's happening? We've got a freeze on.
Yeah. It's maybe over there, and then you got the gremlins in today, I tell you.
Yes.
You noticed that? Because I went to the website, and then I went to their YouTube channel. It was on the YouTube channel that's the gremlins came in then.
Is that when you went black?
Yeah. It was really.
And so we've had the blackness, and now we've got the freezing. Oh, they've gone completely now.
Oh. Yeah, that means back.
That's not meant to happen, really, is it?
No, that's right.
And it was just getting exciting.
Yeah, because I just pulled up a map for a really specialised Crohn's stone circles that are down in by Land's End, and
yes, yeah.
Both very few people know it's there, but it's the actual St. Michael Mary line comes right into that spot, comes in there, and
is that Mary Zion?
No,
you don't know.
No, not there, but it's just it's about 6 miles from Land's End as you go towards Penzance, and it's in the over the stiles and go through the bush and through the bracken, and then all of a sudden you come to the stone circle. And the lead stone circle in due south is pure quartz crystal, but it's got all the lichites on it, lichens. So that's the St. Michael Mary line, and then it goes all the way through, obviously, to Stonehenge and out. But the bloke that she was talking about, I met him in Glastonbury Town Hall, and he had a big map, and he showed you the ley lines. And funny enough, on one of those ley lines is the British military have got some of their bases on those military lines,
No.
Yeah. It's quite interesting, that guy. Yeah. They should come back in, I should say. But,
you think they'll be back?
I would think so. They just they might have internet issues. But anyway, because I've been going through, because I'm looking for the whale photos where we interacted, where the whale came right up in front of me, and then I just put my hand on it. But I've got some audio, the whales' songs with mums and calves. I've got heaps and heaps of recording of the whales. But it was really nice. And of course, when I mentioned Tim Weeder, I mean, he was based in Glastonbury for a while, and Tim was in Eurythmics, so he played all the windward instruments. And so at Glastonbury there, he had his the solfeggio scales, and he had his copper pyramid, and he had the massage table underneath it, and then he had his gongs there, his sun gong, the moon, and the earth gong. I think he might add a Saturn one as well. And he used to play the flute and all that stuff. But he also had a monochordal table. A guy called Joachim Mins over in Basel in Switzerland came up with these instruments. And so they were primarily just like a big guitar. That's the best way to look at it, but turned into a big table. And of course, how the guitar's got that open space there where the chords, allow for the vibration. He had that on his table, but the strings weren't laying on the top. The strings were laid underneath it, and he had close to 28. I might be wrong on the number there. It might even been up to 52 strings underneath and he played it like a harp. And because of the hollowness that he had created, just like a guitar, you're laying on it, just the vibration was just phenomenal, monochordal table. And then the guy actually created that's made out of wood, by the way, and I can't recall what style of wood it was, but then he came up with a chair, and with the strings on the back of the chair, and so you could pluck away as if you're again on what do you call it? Harp. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
we're in tune.
I could see it. I could see it down at the Secret World, and I could see it in Somerset there when he's playing with it. The gongs are pretty impressive. I was going to ask him about when they do the toning. I mean, most people use ohms, and they use go through the valves A, E, I, O, U, M, and N. M and N get you to tone inside up into your frontal, into your skull. It's quite impressive. But I found while you're doing the tones, it was very important that if you can split people up based on their voice range, whether you have a bass or a tone or a tenor, alto or a soprano, or descant soprano, if you could place them in there, and if you could get them all onto the same key, it's a pretty impressive sound. There's only one instrument that you can use that will bring people together on that same tone, and that's the piano accordion. So
okay.
Yeah, so that you can use your four fingers and your thumb, and you can actually, and the other hand, and you can actually compress on the key of E, for example. So you're hitting each one of the keys of E is in the different octaves, and so whatever voice range you're at, you can actually hear it, and then you can get onto it.
Well, I've got a WhatsApp message from them to say that the Wi-Fi had gone down for B and David, but they're still trying, and they're still trying to bring their connection back up. So I think we'll have a little bit of faith, and it will come to pass.
Oh, sure. That is, if they go on WhatsApp, then obviously got internet, so they can perhaps use what's the word, hotspot from their phone.
I don't quite know how they'll muster it, but they're doing it at the moment.
Okay, right,
and we'll go back to them when they come.
Yeah. So
There was.
go on.
I was going to say there was a time many years ago when I worked. The little bit of work I did with sound was in an anechoic chamber, where it's full of wedges from all 6 sides, top, bottom, all 4 walls, and it's got a suspended floor in it, and you could test the responses of microphones and just and that was very interesting. If you spent much time in there, we must have cleared something.
Okay, you're there.
I can't hear them. Here we are.
I can hear you.
Speaker. Here we go.
One of the things in the anechoic chamber is that you could start to hear your own body and the noises that your body made when there's no echo around. And that's a very interesting experience if you can get into an anechoic chamber. I don't suppose there's too many of them in the whole of England. Are you back with us now? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
And David?
I don't know what happened there.
Well, we had a little bit of density and interference, I imagine.
Oh no, it's after we said we should never have said. Oh, we never get it in the. Yeah, we should.
Only happens at the beginning.
The universe is having a laugh. Anyway,
so we have to. I pulled the plug out of the internet to get it back.
Yeah.
Right. So where was I? Oh yeah.
We're talking about the perpetual.
Carry on.
Perpetual choirs.
Yeah.
So
yes, choirs on the triangle. There's the song lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so we went to this talk, and he spent 3.5 years dowsing this 10-pointed decagon. So it's around the outside, and the white-leafed oak in Malvern, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Malvern Hills is at the centre, and all these 10 lines go out, but none of them are straight. They all go through churches and things like that because they're all activated by sound. And so we were like absolutely fascinated, went straight up to him and said, look, we've got to go and visit all these places. So we went to all various places with him. And anyway, we're doing this other event now. And I got this feeling I had to go and check the map that he'd done. So he'd drawn up this map covering like 140 miles across. If I can get it on the screen. So that's an idea of what he mapped.
Wow. Wow. That's quite something.
It is, yeah.
So that's why it's took him 3.5 years.
Spider webby.
Yes, it is, yeah.
So he wrote 2 books about it in the end. But,
So,
so anyway, when I checked the map and I went right into the map, it goes through Bristol, and there's other things that had happened in Bristol connected to that. We actually lived on the line, surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly, as the case may be. But,
your dad and
my mum knew. My
mum
knew. My dad never had a clue.
Yeah.
So and she didn't want to leave, and all. There's a lot going on with that. Anyway, so so I knew 3 days before the event that the hotel was on the line, and when we did this sound event on the Friday, we intended that all of the sound that we were making was going into this song line that was like lights up the grid basically. So the next morning we were going to be doing 3 talks during the day, but we wanted the morning one was the important one,
the 11,
because it was 11/11. And so we were doing the talk, and the period it would be going on would include 11 and 11/11 on the 11/11. And
Yes,
so
good idea.
we wanted Claire to come to that because Claire was the one who set the whole thing up. And she couldn't make it. She came to the next talk. But when it got to 11 o'clock, we said to the whole group, we showed them the stuff, and the point was that the energy goes through the hotel. And we said, we all want to make sound, all of us. So we all sang together, I think it was,
Yes.
For about 3 minutes or so. It's quite a long thing, but the energy in the room was amazing, and it was really powerful because I think everybody had the intent. We'd already told them that the night before we were all doing sound in that room anyway, and it was fascinating that we had that room and everything like conspired for that to happen. Anyway, when she came in and saw it, she was in total shock because she'd been trying to get a hotel in a different city for this event and couldn't get it. And then she followed her guidance and said it was Bristol, and the only hotel that was available that would have Friday night for a room and Saturday night, Saturday and Sunday, the whole like venue, because we had like lots of rooms. There was a lot of speakers there, and that was the only one available. Yeah. And she didn't know why she was there.
And it was a totally illogical choice. She lived in the Fareham, Guildford area, and ideally would have wanted something in the home counties, really, rather than coming all the way over to the southwest.
Yeah.
So, it was obviously meant to be. But that's where we saw.
So there's a great big organizer in the sky that knows a whole lot more than we do.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, and lined the whole thing up.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't have followed the guidance and checked, I would never have known.
No.
And we would never have done a talk on that. But it was very powerful, and she wrote about it. She published it in the magazine in the next issue, and all about the song lines and John Gibson 40 and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that certainly intrigued me and triggered my curiosity to find out a bit more afterwards. And tell me, how did you come to call yourselves the Bards of Avalon?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Okay, so right, I knew that because I used to work for the government, and we'll move on from that.
He got over that.
I knew I was not supposed to be doing what I was doing, and somebody said to me, "You've been doing this job for a long time. Why don't you go for promotion?" I said, "I don't want to go for promotion because I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be doing other things." And I said, and I don't know where that came from. It just sort of came into my mind. And the woman said, "Good night." And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I'm going to get made redundant, and they're going to. I'll use that money to do what I need to do for the rest of my life," type of thing. And she went, "Well, that's never going to happen." And she got really funny about it and everything. And I just sort of thought, well, forget about it. So only about 6 months later, only my job, which was I was a network of us all around the country. My job was the only job that they made redundant. And so I was
get rid of him.
In my office, and I've been there.
That's not constructive dismissal, is it?
I've been there over 20 years. And
it made no sense.
It made no sense at all.
No
to
business
get rid of me.
sense.
I knew more than virtually anybody else who worked there, but my job had to go. So anyway, so I actually finished on my 50th birthday, and we booked to go to Guatemala with a group of people, and so on a sacred journey to go to the pyramids and go to the sacred sites there and stuff. So that was like Tuesday, Wednesday, or something like that. Well, on the Friday, we were going to go. We decided to go to this event.
Yeah, it's the One Life.
Yeah,
One Life exhibition in London.
Yeah. So the idea of that is that you use that event to inspire you to what you really like to do with your life.
Yeah.
And So we booked for that, and 2 days later we were already in London then, and 2 days later we were flying out. And so we went all around the exhibition. We met some really interesting people.
There was David Hamilton there, you know, talking about kindness and stuff. He was brilliant.
Yeah. And they had Hay House was there, and they had all their divination cards, and they had this great big perspex bowl that was about it was more than 4 foot across, and it had every card from every pack that was in there. And so I thought, oh, that'd be interesting. I'll find out what I need to do next. Like, you know, what do I need to know? What is it going to be and stuff? And so I put my hand in and pull out a card, and it's the card is called the Bard, and the Bard, B-A-R-D. And
yes. Like Shakespeare.
I read what it said, and it said that you tell stories, you travel, and basically you make music. And I went, well, that's what we do. And I said, that's us. We must be the bards. And I said to B, take my picture. So she's taking my picture of me holding the card and stuff. And the woman comes over and said, what are you doing? And I said, I just pulled a card out, and I said, it's us. And she said, oh, great. She said, well, do you want to take it with you? And I said, yeah, all right. So I put it in my pocket, forgot about it. And we get to Guatemala. And we then meet up in this great big room, and everybody's there, and they've got to introduce themselves. And I had no idea what I was going to say or anything. And I felt round in my pocket, and I felt the card there.
It was.
And I thought, and then I thought, because it the card is from the Avalon pack.
The Wisdom of Avalon.
The Wisdom of Avalon. By Colette Baron Cohen. Baron Reed, sorry. Yeah. And so I get stuff wrong. And so anyway, moving on. Right. So I said, I pulled the card out, remembered it was the Avalon pack, and said, we're the Bards of Avalon, and forgot about it. And then months and months later, we were begged by people to do this recording and make an album and stuff. And I thought, well, I'll give it a go. So we went to these studios and stuff and said, right, we've been told we've got to make an album. And they said, right, okay. So how many songs have you got? And I said, well, we haven't got any songs. And they said, well, what instruments are you playing? And they said, well, we haven't got any instruments. And they said, well, do you know anything about what you're doing at all? And I said, well, not really. And they said, well, you can't hire the studio because we're not interested. Just go away. And so we then months went by and nothing seemed happened. And then one of the people that was on that journey to Guatemala, she wanted to contact us. But the day before, the leader of the groups put out an email and said, does anybody want to do a house sit for me in America and look after
nice idea.
And my dogs. And we both went the same reaction as you. We went, wow, that'd be great.
Sedona, here we come.
Because at that point, neither of us had a job. Yeah. And so we said, well, that'd be brilliant. And then we said, well, hang on a minute, we got a flight over to America, which is going to got to buy tickets and everything and go. Then we'll probably have to hire a car, and then it's going to cost us quite a lot of money. We're not really earning anything. So I said, oh, that's not going to work. And so we said, well, we can't really do that. And then we said, well, brilliant idea. So that was like, say, Friday night. Saturday morning, phone goes, and it's another woman from that group. And she said, well, I've been guided to ring you. And I said, well, what for? She said, well, I want you to do a house sit. And I said, who told you?
You're going to do a house sit.
she said, what do you mean? I said, well, only last night we decided that we'd like to do a house sit. And I said, and you ring us this morning and say, I want you to do a house sit. So anyway, we go and see her, and we got to look after a cat. Well, she was going to Peru for 3 months. And so she said, like, you just be there and look after the cat. So we've been there about like 2 weeks, and some energetic stuff needed clearing. And so I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. And then we get an email from somebody in Scotland who said, in the email, she said, right, I've been, I was guided, she played a harp and she taught herself. And she said, I've been guided to learn how to do recording. And so she said, I've done a course and stuff. And she said, I can now do recording. I've got the teacher that I went with said he would master anything that I produce. And she said, I got my own record label. She said, I've got all of the code stuff that you need and everything. I've got my own mobile studio with 2 microphones. And in the email and said, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. So to be reads it out to me and says, okay. So she phones her up and said, that we've been guided that we're supposed to make an album, and she thought it was brilliant and everything. So B checked the flights. It was £25 to fly to Stansted, and we said, Luton, Luton. We can pick you up at the airport. So she said, all right, I'll come. So that was like Wednesday or something, and so Friday she came. So she stayed with us for the weekend, and we were doing recordings in the kitchen of this house. And which are pictures of it. I should be in that 10 years of adventures thing, and so we do recording there and everything, and then we had to go off to they're in a video, so you can if you go down, you'll be able to see where to click on for the video. But it's 10 years of adventures.
There it is, a decade of adventures.
Yeah, there it is, decade of adventure. So it's in there. Yeah. And so we had to then go to Scotland and stuff and do stuff up there because obviously we couldn't record an album in a weekend. And
we got this crazy idea. Wouldn't it be nice to record in Rosslyn Chapel? And we went. We went to Watts Chapel as well, down in Surrey, which is this beautiful, beautiful chapel with these exquisite pre-Raphaelite angels in it, but it wouldn't work. The sound wouldn't work there. We went to Rosslyn. We managed to get private access to Rosslyn, which was incredible how that actually happened. And Isabel's heart refused to play. And then we realised actually that we were being led around all these places because we were actually clearing them.
We were clearing them, but we didn't know we were clearing them. And so none of that got used in the album and everything.
No, but it was quite a journey.
Yeah. And so anyway,
it's quite magical.
It was totally magical.
We ended up at one point we booked a cabin in like a
just
special,
outside of Stirling. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
It was like a Sacred Valley type thing with all the water running through it.
With the wee
and it was in December we booked it.
Yeah.
So everything was freezing. The all of the waterfall was frozen.
The lake was frozen.
Yeah. Was frozen. And we did we did the last part of the main part of the recording there.
Here we are.
And
we went to Dunfermline as well.
And we went to Dunfermline. And so anyway, we were there doing the recording, and the last angel, that we were trying to get. The inside looks amazing.
Yeah, maybe we should actually say about what the album was about in the end, because you mentioned about
I'll get it.
Yeah.
You can say.
All right.
He likes to tell a story.
He does. So
no, I never shut up.
As I said, would never believe that he was very shy about speaking to other people.
It's not possible.
So we got the guidance that it was about the four main archangels. But like David, so Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel. And what we had to do was connect with their energies and produce pure tone, which is really like their name, but then also their song. So producing their song. And then David goes, well, that's all very well having four, but that's not going to.
That's not an album.
That's not an album.
So it's like 15 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So then we thought, well, actually, what we should have are, although angels are androgynous, they in traditional angelology, they have it's a bit much this time of day, isn't it? They have a divine feminine counterpart, and we thought, well, wouldn't that be lovely to connect with the archangel, then connect with their divine feminine counterpart, and then have the two of them singing together. And
so I've got 12 now.
And then I thought, oh yes, well that sounds more like an album.
That sounds more like an album
now.
Yeah. So this is what we ended up with.
And again,
Archangel transmission, Bards of Avalon. And you've got that Fibonacci sequence, haven't you? Got
that was from Australia.
That's from Australia. I photographed that. So I did 118 photographs, and none of them were really good.
That was the only one that was
light.
That's the one.
It had to be sunset. The sun was setting, and
it was on my black velvet trousers, I think. In the
end,
I think.
Through a bedroom window. And then so there's the tracks on the back and stuff. So
my goodness.
Yeah.
That sounds exquisite. And is it available? Can we still buy it online or anything?
Yeah, you can download it.
Or you can actually get it. I can bring you a physical copy.
Yes, we can bring you a physical one if you still have CD players.
I like the physical.
Yeah.
There's
some other ones. So then we said, right,
we got loads of things there.
We've done it.
Download.
And then we said, well, we've got to then make a cover. So they told me to photograph this shell. So I did that, and then we needed a name, and we were coming up with all these various exotic names and everything. And then
give us the most exotic you came out with.
Yeah, and I don't know. It was something to do with mantras.
It was something to do with like the Sanskrit for the jewel of the heart or something like that.
It was some mantra.
And then we thought, well, actually, Sanskrit will put people off. So we wanted to.
Well, I don't know what Bards of Avalon does, but anyway. But then we then sort of went, well, hang on a minute. We were given the name 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And they gave it to us. So literally physically handed it to me, so you can't sort of say, we'll use something else. So that's why we used that name.
We should also clarify that Avalon to us isn't just Glastonbury. That's one aspect of Avalon. And, if you go to Glastonbury, there's definitely the Avalonians and there's definitely the Glastonians. But no, this is much broader. This is about a time when humanity were very respectful to one another. It was a very creative time. So it's more about building this new society that we wish to live in. That is respectful. It's based on those ideas of integrity and things like that. So I just wanted to add that. Anyway, So back to the album. Yep.
So I think that's it, isn't it?
Well, the other interesting thing with this is, again, amazing because we're not trained musicians. I just got this thing in my head that I think, was it you thought we needed like a really nice track to both start the album?
No, we were told that it starts with Archangel Michael,
and it comes in like that.
It's like
so
a
powerful.
it's like a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
So you can't come in with Archangel Michael. So we had to do an introduction, and they wanted to have an end. But we'd finished recording in Scotland at that point, and then we were talking to my nephew about it, and he said, "Well, I've got a recording studio," and he said, "Well, you know, why don't you come over?" And he said, "I'll have a go at, you know, doing whatever you want." So we did the first part, the introduction, which was fairly easy. But then we had to do the end, or the end, and he only had one mic. So whenever we do it, like literally, is the way I see it, and I could be completely wrong, but the way I see it is that the information comes from source, goes in there, and then as it comes out there, I get a connection, and I get it. So I know what she's going to do, but it's coming from there, right? But when we've only got one mic, so there's only one person singing. So we then were told the last track was all 8. And they all wanted to sing individually. So each one of them had a track. So you had 8 tracks. So we're in my nephew's lounge and stuff, and going, right, we got to do 8 tracks, and we're going to put them all together, you know, and overlap, you know. So each one, they all like line up and stuff. So I said, well, I don't know what I'm doing, so you carry on. So B goes to the mic.
It was really weird, because I was hearing this melody, and I was hearing this word, Gloria, and it's like, you know, the glory. This is what it was about, but it had to be Gloria. And I was getting all in my head, and I thought, because I'm not like my nephew. My nephew's brilliant.
He's a musician.
He's a musician. He's a lecturer in music. He can hear something for once, and he can perfectly reproduce it. I was sort of like hearing all these different melodies that all these different angels were telling me. And I'm thinking, I've got to get it out. I've got to get it out, because otherwise, if I don't, I'm going to lose it. And so I went up to the mic, and I just did one after the other. Boom, 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 boom. 5 tracks straight off. Wow. And I said, right, Dave, I'm off to make some tea.
She's got to make the tea.
Here's the mic.
Here's the mic, your turn.
It's your turn.
But then Ben said to her, he said,
that's how you do it. Just follow that.
Yeah. He said, so what are you doing? Because he said, because when he laid them, you know, one after another, because she didn't hear any of the tracks as she was doing it. She just did the track. And then he put them all together, and they all match perfectly.
He said, where did you learn to do harmonies like that? I said, I just listened to the angels, you know.
So then she goes, oh, here's the mic. And I thought, oh, God, you know, how am I going to do this? So I ended up, because what happened is the first one comes in, the second one comes in, the third one comes in.
You had a sore throat.
So they all got shorter and shorter. Yeah, they got a sore throat because I didn't want to do it. And so I had the last 3, which were the 3 shortest ones. So luckily I didn't have to do very much. I can't even remember how I did it, but you know, it works. Wow. It works perfectly. So we got 8 tracks on the last one. And
what a creative process. Brilliant.
It's a brilliant process, yeah.
And hilarious as well.
It is.
Well, yeah. And,
so if anyone out there wants to do an album, go for it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just do it. A Nike kind of album.
So then we had to.
So yeah.
We had to come up.
I understand too that you do work with not just with the sound, but with waters and the blessings of the water.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about that aspect of your
definitely, because
life?
So going back, a long time ago, probably to the early 90s.
Oh right, yeah.
I sort of was working with people like Solara, the original Solara of 1111. And she was encouraging us to really connect with, it's again to do with angelic presence, but also in the times, it's raising our consciousness, raising humanity's consciousness.
Okay.
And at that time, I found myself just wanting to tone to beautiful things in nature. And when I came across like rivers or streams, and they were just so beautiful, and I was just sort of like literally toning for joy. And then I noticed a subtle change, that if I did it for a certain length of time, then suddenly my voice would completely change. And then I'd realize that the water was actually singing through me. And I thought, whoa. And I thought, okay, the water wants to be expressed. And we found this a lot in our work, actually, that it could be, the land wants to have a voice. It could be all sorts of things, want to be heard, basically. So that's how it originally started with water. But then we found out about the work of Dr. Liliana Corridor. And she is an amazing, amazing woman. And I found out in 2004 that she was doing a course on water healing. And she's incredible intellect. She's got 5 different degrees in various water sciences. So she's got a really solid scientific background. She's also an astounding channel. So the thing is, but she definitely walks between the worlds. She's plugged in to the cosmos, but she's very much doing stuff down here as well. And so I said to David, I really want to do this because it'll be really useful, for our personal development and also going forwards. And basically where Liliana is coming from is that because we're comprised largely of water, we need to heal our waters. And if we can heal our waters, we'll literally have a ripple effect around the world. And the other thing also happening probably just before actually 2004, I don't know how I found out, probably because in those days there was no internet, well, very limited internet. But I found out about Masaru Emoto's work, and I think probably in Kindred Spirit magazine, because that probably would have been the way I would have found out. Bottom line is, I got one of the first copies of his Messages of Water books in the country.
Wow.
And and I got this lovely, and I've still got it to this day, a little handwritten note from Mrs. Emoto saying, "Oh, thank you so much, for buying this book." And on one side is English, and the other side is Japanese. And I remember when I received it, because I thought I couldn't actually open the package because I could feel the energy, and I thought it's going to change my life. This book, it's going to change my life. Certainly, as soon as I opened it, and I thought, that's it. And it just blew me away. And as so many people now know about the impact of your words and your intentions on water, and how water actually feeds that back to you. And actually, the one that really hit me wasn't so much the beautiful crystals. It's the ones like they were the really ugly looking ones, like the things like "you make me sick," that kind of thing. Because I thought, oh my God, I had this sudden realization, all the negative self-talk, what am I doing to my water? By saying I'm not all right, I'm not perfect, I'm not okay, it's not okay to be me, all of those kind of negative messages. And so a light bulb went on. So anyway, I said to David, right, I'm going to do this course. But it clashed with one of the courses that David wanted to do. So do you want to pick it up from there? So
yeah, because I've been doing vortex healing, which is run by this guy from America. And I'd done about 5 courses already, and I knew everybody, and we would just meet up. And we'd be together for like 5 days at a time and things like that. And I really liked going. and things, and I thought, well, I'm going to see all my friends and stuff, and then B comes up and says, "Oh, want to do this other thing?"
Oh, here he is.
And so I said, "Well, I'm not really interested because I'm doing this other one." And then she said, "Well, let me read out what it is." And then she read it out, and my body just went, "You go into this one." So, all right then. So that was the end of that. So I've never done another Vortex course since. But yeah, it was meant to be, and we met some really interesting people and stuff that we contact with. One's in India or something at the moment. But
we have,
yeah.
I mean, to be honest, we have so much we could share about water, but the real highlights we want to stress. We met Vader Austin a few times now, and Vader Austin has picked up the mantle from where Masuri Emoto sadly passed away now. But Vader is just brilliant because she's come up with a method of actually communicating with water, and is that kind of dialogue with water by using a simple process which you can use your kitchen freezer. And what I love is that she's just done this, repeated these things thousands and thousands of times, but she's coming up with like an alphabet of these certain what she calls hieroglyphs. They're like the Egyptian hieroglyphs, and she found that water, if you're doing this continual communication with them, just continual freezing, is actually sending us messages all the time. And we had it's so funny because we were talking at a conference, we were talking about water consciousness, and it so happened that there was a freezer in the room. And I thought, okay, it's a bit edgy, we're it's a bit high risk, but let's go for it. So I had a Petri dish, and I thought, right, what we like doing is actually using just ordinary tap water, because it's some of the most polluted, horrible, dead, if you like, water. And if we can show how the effect of sound and intention works on tap water, and then we can also do nice, pretty things like spring water and living water, and stuff like that. So anyway, we had a group of about 50 people in the audience. We invited everyone to really send their love, their thanks and respect. This is what Dr. Emoto said. Send your love, your thanks, your respect to the water. So, and we toned the sound of the heart to this little Petri dish with the tap water in it. And it was hilarious because there was another break. And another speaker came on after us. Meanwhile, I was able to freeze the sample, photograph it, upload it to my laptop, and say, "Well, would you like to see
the result?"
The result? Oh, yes, please. There was a heart
in the middle.
The water, the heart in the middle of the Petri dish.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that really got the crowd there. And then we did various other ones in what was the second one? Because we did Western third.
Yeah, we did the New Forest. Yeah, we did one there as well.
Was there?
It was Pam Gregory and Magenta Pixie was there.
So Pam Gregory was in the audience, who does all the astrology. And so we described all the things and we showed them what had happened and stuff. And so that was what inspired her to do her things about water. And
then she had Vader on the show.
She had Vader on the show and stuff like that. Yeah. So literally she wouldn't have known if she hadn't have been to our talk. But then we did the Western one. Now the Western one, we had a freezer there as well. No, we froze it first, didn't we?
We froze it first,
we said, right, so we're going to do where we live. And we want to know, what's the energy like there and stuff. And so we had a postcard, picture of the tide in and the
not just
pier.
Mud.
Not the mud, the tide is in. And underneath it said Western Supermare. So we put the Petri dish on the top for 30 seconds and then put it in the freezer. When we took it out, it had all these like symbols that were really positive symbols, weren't they, about you know, spirituality and stuff like that, which is all the symbols that she decoded. But in the middle, it said Weston-super-Mare.
Yeah.
So it was trying to write it.
You'd literally almost transferred it.
You could see that
from
it
the
was
postcard to the petri dish.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because this show is called Dreaming the New Dream. And actually, this was, the symbols were dreaming a new dream and actually anchoring it. So it was so positive about what was actually being anchored. It was so, so beautiful. And then it was really funny because we got contacted by the mayor of Caen. Caen is a little village just outside of what's a town outside of Devizes. So it's in the Wiltshire, Avebury-ish sort of area. And he said, would you talk to my group? I have a Friends of the River Marden group. Would you do a Zoom talk about how to restore water? Because I'm very concerned about our river, the amount of sewage that's in it, and the way we disrespect our rivers. And so both of us were sort of reluctant to do so.
We weren't because we're not like scientists.
We're not environmental
scientists. People.
We can send our positive energy and we can raise awareness, but we can't guarantee that everything. I mean, Masaru Emoto managed to get some Buddhist monks to take some really filthy lake water and turn it into beautiful crystals, you know, after their chanting. But I can't guarantee, you know. Anyway, so but he persisted, and we sort of thought, okay, well we'll do it.
Yeah, so we did it in the end, and so this is like a Wednesday night.
Yeah,
and then at the end we said, well, what you know, is there anything else happening? And he said, oh yeah, we're going to do a river blessing on Friday. And we said, where's that? And it was
Joyce's
Pond. And we were booked to do sunrise bee ceremony at Avebury on the Saturday. So we'd already booked accommodation, and we decided for no known reason to us to book 2 nights. And so we said, well, it's not far from where we're going anyway. And we're going to drive up on the Friday anyway. And we said, well, we can come. So we go to this river blessing, and was there 3 mayors there?
Yes, there was
3 mayors.
The mayor of Bath,
yeah,
the mayor of Malmesbury, and Robert, who's the mayor of Caen.
Yeah.
So they all had their full regalia. Well, one in particular had the full regalia with the, you know, the cornet and the magnificent red cape, but they all had their gold chains. Yeah.
And then we had a vicar. We had various other people everybody from completely different backgrounds. Only thing that was that really put us together was that we were all really focused on what could we do for water.
Yeah.
So we did the event, and we said right after, it was really good. You know, everybody loved it. And then I said, are you doing anything else? He said, oh, we're doing another one on Sunday. And I said, well, where's that? And he said, well, it's near Caen. And I said, but we're staying in Caen.
You're going to be there anyway.
And I said, and we're staying 2 nights, so we'll be there on Sunday. So we went to that one as well.
Yeah.
And then they had the Bishop of Salisbury turned up to that one. And he, when he experienced what we were doing and our focus and our intent, and literally the power of our intent, because he could really see the love
with the whole
from
group,
us, from the whole group. And he started crying. And he said, I've never been to anything like this, where all the people have got this, you know, really strong focus and stuff. And so he said, I've got to leave early because I'm doing a full immersion baptism when you think it's water. And he said, he said, I've got my like script for what I'm going to say. He said, I'm tearing it up. He said, I'm going to talk about you people, because he said that this is the most profound thing I've done. And he said, it's amazing to be with you and stuff. So that was really interesting. So that was the second one.
Yeah.
But we've done lots since then.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about them is that they welcome all faiths and none. They welcome all backgrounds. I mean, I remember we had the Glastonbury one. We had the Conservative Mayor of Wells, the Green Mayor of Glastonbury, Green Mayor of Bruton, and we had the Liberal Democrat Mayor of Caen. And then we had Druids, we had Wiccans, we had pagans, we had Christians, and people who, they're not interested.
Yeah, it's about 50.
But
I think 50
and
people
we had people who were just basically, we were all united in the one aim that we want to raise awareness about how we treat our water and just give the water some love. So, and then since that time, we've just been doing, loads of ceremonies, but with them. But we've also been doing lots of water ceremonies ourselves. We were invited to America, to a dear friend's First Nation land, and to do a river blessing there. And that was very moving. And we had some of these elders singing us songs, so that, and thanking us for coming all the way, sort of thing. And that was really moving. So,
yeah.
So we've got, we're going to, we won't be able to make the next one. They tend to do them around on the Celtic calendar. So there is one, the next one will be in Caen on spring equinox, and we'll be there for the Beltane one, which will be in Bath, the beautiful city of Bath. And so we're very much looking forward to that.
So the purpose of all of this was to raise awareness of how water is treated in this country, which is really, really bad. And Channel 4 has just produced a 3-part series, which is like an investigation into the state of the pollution that's put into the rivers. And it's really powerful. Most people, as soon as you've seen the first episode, you just want to go to the water company and say to them, you cannot do this anymore. They're destroying all our rivers. And people are actually dying from the poo that they've been exposed to, E. coli. And but when you think that when we started, nobody had any clue really about what we were talking about. It was like, what are you worried about? And there's nothing wrong here, type of thing. Where now it's like half the country now, and they want to. I mean, we actually wrote to our MP and said, what are you going to do? Because it's so obvious now that you can't hide from it.
But we've found time again as well that, the way water works in partnership, with sound, because I mean we are largely comprised of water, and this is why when you hear your favorite song and it gives you goosebumps and things like that, it's literally the sound is moving through your waters. And but we have we've just been guided to work so much with it, and we just find time and time again that water will give us feedback after we sent it love, and it sends us back love, and it's just absolutely amazing.
We did something in London. We did it for the River Martin, wasn't it?
No, it's the River Walbrook.
Walbrook.
Now, they've in London, they've got a few rivers which have been hidden. They basically just have turned the river into a sewage drain and basically funneled it underground in the city of London. And so the original river is pretty much dead.
And it flows out into the Thames. So we went down to the Thames and we were putting like flowers and stuff.
Yeah, we gave some rose petals
and stuff. So there was 7 of us did it, and we started to tone to the Thames, and we were stood on steps. So there's steps going down it, so you could get onto a boat and go off. And so we were stood about 4 or 5 steps up. Well, I was stood a couple of steps further back because I was photographing us doing it and stuff. And so as soon as we'd done it, this great big wave came up, and it covered up about a foot up the leg, which meant that it had risen about more than 3 feet, and it actually like bounced off a wall that was next to us, and had a spray go over us, and it did like 2 of those or something like that, as to say thanks for your work.
But there was no boat going past or anything.
There was nothing. There was no reason whatsoever
no wind,
for it to do it.
Yeah.
But it did it anyway.
And there was another time when we were on a boat just off the coast of Portugal, and we were and again we were just giving we had a combination of white spring waters and red spring waters from Glastonbury.
Yeah.
And we had some rose petals, and I think we had a crystal as well, for that particular one. I can't remember.
Yeah, but we did a little ceremony with a statue, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Or the Buddha. Yeah, the Buddha. Oh, that's another story. Oh, God, there's so many stories.
So that one was...
No, I wanted to say about what happened.
All right, you do that one then.
Yeah, because so literally... we're just giving thanks to the water, and we're also giving thanks to all the beings in the water and for all the jobs they do, because again, they don't get recognised for what they do.
And we said the whales and the dolphins.
And
And I photographed us with like these rose petals and stuff in our hands, and I took a picture of that, and then we threw it into the sea. So we're like, in effect, we're in a very big ship. So we're in effect like, I don't know, 8-10 floors up from sea level. And so they go in the water, and then a few seconds later, after it had hit the water, a pod of dolphins swam by, and I thought, because I put my camera down, I ran back in, got the camera, went back out, and I said, "Can we see you?" And I took a picture, and one dolphin jumped out of the water like that. And so I got the picture of the dolphin jumping out of the water. And then the captain came on and said, we just had a pod of dolphins swim by. And so they only went by on one side of the ship. And literally, I think it was a minute after
you actually got the time.
I got the phone because I got the timestamps.
Yeah.
So I got the times that put the crystal in the water, and I got the time that they went by. But if they'd gone by already before we'd said, then really it would have. You couldn't say that they planned it, but it's like they planned it because because we went back in after, we wouldn't have known anything at all. It was just that they came past us straight away, just like that. But the reason we were doing this in the first place was we went to meet a lady called Koala, who used to work with Liliana, who was back at the beginning of all this. So that was like 2003. We met Liliana. We then met Koala, and we ended up doing a weekend workshop with her.
In London, yeah.
No, we did a weekend workshop here.
in Bristol.
Near Bristol. Yeah. And in the workshop, she went round the room and did a reading for every person in the room. And she was going, "Oh, you're going to write these books, and you're going to do this, and you're going to go and do that." And I thought, well, I'm a nobody, and I do nothing, and I thought, well, what's she going to say to me? So then she goes, "Right, David, beloved brother," she said, "sound is the key. Sound is what you work with. Your sound. It has to be your sound. And this will be the key to your life." And I'm like lying there going, "What?" And so
here you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, with me, she said, And for you, you are the breath.
Yeah.
When you understand breath, then you will understand what you are here to do.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, the breath, the
And the
in-breath
sound.
and the sound.
Yeah.
So I thought that's beautiful,
Yeah.
you know. So I thought it was absolutely. This is long
So,
before we
yeah.
actually got really into this.
And
Yeah.
even the breath of the waves, the water itself, the breathing in and the breathing out.
Yeah.
And then energetically, of course, the sound in the hearing is energetically connected to the kidneys, which is the water function. So
of course, yes,
of course,
yes.
So everything makes sense.
It does. So just
we went off to London, and we were going to go into this woman's event. It's more or less a sort of healing the planet type of event thing. And so we were there for the weekend and stuff. And she announces that certain places, as she calls portals, were needed some work. And she said one of them was the Baltic Sea. And she said, we need somebody to go to the Baltic Sea and do some clearing work. And so it just so happened that Bee's mother had asked us if we would go on to the Baltic Sea. And
here we go.
We would go to St. Petersburg and all the ports all around the outside of the Baltic Sea.
So basically the maps that Jeff is showing. So we went to Copenhagen, Oslo, we went to Stockholm, Helsinki, Tallinn, and St. Petersburg as well. So it's quite a big, it's a vast area.
It's a big cruise.
Yeah.
So before we went, we said we sort of asked, is there anything we need to do? And the answer we got back was to do a Buddha bath ceremony, and you like pour water, like sacred water, over this statue and say this mantra. And so we were in London. We were going to be going in like about 3 days, and we weren't going home, and we didn't have a statue. And I said, "Where does that work?" And the answer I got back was like, "You'll see." And so I was like, "Okay." And so we went to Tags Island, which is an island on the Thames, and there was somebody running an Angel Day event there. So we said, "Well, we'll go, and we'll have a bit of a party with all these people and stuff." And so he had a raffle, and he said, "Oh, raffle prizes are in this cupboard on the side with a glass fronted thing." And so he said, "I'll do the draw." So he does the draw, first prize, second prize. There was 4 prizes, and first, second, third. And then I get this voice in my head said, "You've won. It's number 367 or something like that." So I look at my tickets, and I got 5. So I tear off 367, and then he pulls out 367.
367.
And I already had it in my hand like that. And I said, "Yeah, I know. I knew I'd won." And here's the ticket.
And it was a Buddha.
Yeah, and so I go to So I go to the cupboard, and in the cupboard is open the glass door, and there's the Buddha statue. And I'm like, "Oh." So I then told them why I won, and they're all like, so we did this round all the ports, and B said before we went, she said, "I really don't like it if it's rough. I want it to be smooth. Well, you've got to go up the North Sea and then round the Baltic, and you're 2 weeks doing this." Well, the captain came on at the end, and he said, "This is," he said, "I've done this cruise for years and everything," and he said, "We have never experienced it so that there was hardly a ripple in the sea for 2 weeks.
It was like silk.
It was flat.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'll get the statue."
Yeah.
He's got the statue.
He's got the statue. Yes, he just has to pop out and get the statue.
Okay. And tell me, what sort of events have you got coming up?
So
how can people find you?
The best way to get hold of us is through our website, because that's www.beesmother.co.uk. bardsofAvalon.com. What we've got a really fantastic in-person event coming up in May. It's the Resonance of the Heart Beltane celebration. And we work with our dear friends. Yeah, if you scroll down there, Jeff, we've got that one there. We work with Wendy Ruddick, who's another magnificent sound therapist and community drum facilitator. And we also work with Donna, who makes the most scrumptious food. And it is a fantastic community event. It really is.
Yes.
We haven't published yet, but we will be doing, we have regular online events. There is a sound bath we've got. It's been hosted by the Slimbridge Dowsers, but anyone is welcome. So there's more details there if you hit the yellow button. And then
where's that?
That is in Gloucestershire. So basically it's just off the M5. It's just north of Bristol and about west. It's just west of Stroud, just to give an idea.
Okay.
And then we've got that River Blessing there, where we'll be working with Robert, Kate, and the crew on doing a river blessing, and it's right by that Pulteney Weir, that picture there, which is right in the heart of Bath. Which is really, really very beautiful city, beautiful ancient city. Yeah.
Okay, so where's our Buddha to say goodbye to? Come on, Buddha. Where's the Buddha?
And
so he used to be more like this color.
Yeah.
But he's had so many baths. He's gone white.
So many baths. So it's a clean Buddha. Very smooth as well.
I can't believe it's not Buddha.
Yeah.
There's a lot of our friends. We're a bit troublemakers, a bit cheeky,
Well, I think that's a fabulous sentiment to end on. I can't believe it's not Buddha. It's an absolute delight to speak with you. And we had a nice little interruption to just prove that everything is live.
Yes.
And, yes. And it's lovely to hear your stories of the sound and the water and how everything came to pass. And what a tremendous 50th birthday present you gave yourself, David.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
The rest of your life.
I've worked in normal corporate work since I was 50.
Yeah.
Nor has B.
No,
both of us literally came out of the system, and we managed to do.
So it reminds me. I can't remember which famous English football manager said, "Well, it's football. It's a game of two halves." So really lovely to speak with you, and perhaps we can do it another time.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Thank you so much for inviting us. It's been
hugely entertaining and very funny in so many ways. Thank you very, very much.
We can do
Back
this.
to you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay, so stay online. So while we go off, and then but like there's no red chair to flick you off. Like
we're not the Graham Norton show. Yeah.
Not like our famous Graham Norton.
That's long on the bloody red chair, I've got to tell you.
Yeah.
An hour and 53 minutes. We'll talk about what's that saying? You can talk for England. Well, yeah, you did that today.
Yeah.
Definitely. He could talk
Well,
for
they've
England
done very well. We'll give them a gold prize.
We're going to finish up. Thank you very much. Okay, folks, we're going back to our normal radio program, and we'll be back next Wednesday morning for our United States show, and then Thursday. And our Monday night host, she's in a sabbatical. She's currently up at Irian Jaya, which is a country next door to Papua New Guinea. So she's got some big stories to tell us. All right, thank you. Bye now. Just stand by.